Get out the way, get out the way, get out the way, yeah. Get out the way, get the fuck up out my way, yeah. Win, 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 win.
Yo, this is Millennial Sport Talk. This is episode 5. And this episode actually was going to start out going over the MLS and a lot of observations I saw as I'm starting to get interested in MLS. I've always wanted to be interested, and I recently just selected a team to follow that I want to be a fan of. But obviously today was the big match between United and Spurs. So we have to tackle that first to get that off my chest. And I've had time to cool off. I had time to go to the gym. As you can see, I got my hair cut, relaxed, had a nice hot shower. Yeah, I'm not fuming too much. It's just the fact that this is, like I said earlier, this is what needed to happen. And we finally hit a climax in this Mourinho saga at Manchester United. We knew it was not going to last forever. We knew that we were limping into this match. And I don't want to blame Mourinho for what happened today. I don't want to blame him, but you have to, because everything that has happened led to this point. That's why this is the climax of the end of his tenure, really, is if we didn't lose to Brighton and give up 3 goals against Brighton, we don't have this issue that we have right now. If we had, going back to last season, if we had beaten Chelsea in the FA Cup and had second place with silverware to boot, I wouldn't be at this point right now. If we had signed somebody in the window, transfer window, to bolster our defense, I probably still might be at this point, but it wouldn't be as bad. I don't think we would have lost. The fact of the matter is that all of those things did not happen. And when it didn't happen, you make an excuse for Mourinho. He's had an excuse after the first year he was at United. Oh, we still had trophies even though we finished 6th. We still got a Champions League. Second year, last year, we have excuses. Well, we're still in Champions League. We finished 2nd. That's improvement. And we did make progress. We got to the cup finals of the FA Cup. But at this point in time, given the history, the number of excuses that we've given him, it's time to go. I am fully on board. Mourinho out. Get this guy out of here. I tweeted from the account. I said, the results will speak for themselves at the end of this game. It's excited, and that's what happened. The results today speak for everything you need to know, and that's 3-0. Spurs beat United for the first time in 4 years. First time in 4 years they've come into Old Trafford and lost, and today they win 3-0. And the reason why I didn't want to blame Mourinho at first is because Lukaku misses an absolute sitter. That open net goal. Granted, Spurs missed one too, but you can't control what they miss. What you can control is if Lukaku makes that goal and we go up 1-0, it's a completely different game. You go into halftime, possibly 1-0, possibly more, who knows? But it's a situation that a team like United should be able to overcome. And that's the problem, is that even against Brighton, they were down 2-0 or even 1-0. A team like United should be able to respond to that. Heck, even today when Spurs went up 2-0, I was like, okay, you know what? United has done this before and they have came back and won. They can do that. They have the talent to do that, and they can do it. But what happened? He brings Alexis off the bench, and then injury to Jones occurs, and you have to quickly take him off. So now you're down to your last substitution, and then he brings on Fellaini again. That's where it's no more. No. I'm tired of seeing Fellaini. I don't hate Fellaini as much as everybody else, but he should not be getting minutes off the bench before Rashford when we're losing. Maybe if we're winning, we're protecting the lead. If we're losing, Moreno, you're in a hole. You need somebody electric to spark the offense, and you chose Fellaini. That is a bad joke. That's what it is. It is a terrible, awful joke. Okay, so this joke is about over, and that's Moreno's career at United, because at this point in time, you have all. If you're the board of Manchester United, you have all the weapons and arsenal you need to sack him. Every excuse is you are legitimized in your decision to sack Jose Mourinho at this point in time. I didn't believe so after he finished second. I didn't believe so after the first loss of the season, but back-to-back losses, a loss at home to yeah, top six, a rival, quote unquote. I won't say a true rival, not really, but a top six side. You came into this match. You tried a new 3-5-2 formation. That 3-5-2 wasn't that bad. It wasn't. But looking at the performance of our players, of Pogba, who, like I said, Pogba is more important to United than Mourinho. And it sounds like we have suitors already lined up to manage this team, manage this club. The board, Ed Woodward, you have to save this season now. Save it now before it goes in the toilet. You're only 6 games off the mark. It's August. So there's no reason to panic. As long as you do the right thing, kill him. That's what I said. I said, with that third goal, Lucas Moura beheaded Jose Mourinho. Now all we have to do is get rid of the body before it rots and stinks up the place. Get rid of it, and we're good, and we can come back, and we can make up this point differential. We have plenty of 35 games left to make up that point differential, and you still got the FA Cup and the League Cup and Champions League that you can win some silverware and not have this season as a waste. And keep your players, retain your players. I think that's what the players are saying. The players are saying, hey, guys, we want to be here at United. Just get rid of Jose Mourinho. Get rid of this dead man walking. He's a dead body walking, and he's rotting up the place. Ultimately, it's just nothing is going right, okay? This is, like I said, the climax turning point. And if you're a Manchester supporter out there, I was reserving the frustration. I was reserving being loudly and outwardly criticizing and cynical of Moreno or the club. But after this, if the board does not sack Jose this week, I mean, really, even definitely after the Burnley game, if we draw or lose to Burnley, absolutely. I mean, you have to start rioting in the streets. You have to start not showing up to games. You got to send a message to the board that we're not going to have it. We will not have it. No, it's time to get rid of him. So, really, we need to get rid of him as soon as possible. And this is the game that gives you that reason to get rid of him. So, we already have two disgruntled players. Obviously, Martial, I'm not so much concerned about. I've told you why. But Pogba, you can't afford to lose Pogba. Alexis, Rashford didn't even play. How many guys have to get disgruntled of us potentially losing where we're stuck with Phil Jones and Fellaini and Herrera, these guys that could, barely make another top Champions League side? No, we got to take action now. And if they don't do it this week, then things are going to spiral out of control. Right now, I think it's under control, despite what the critics say. Show control by getting rid of Jose Mourinho. Over the weekend, I was able to catch a couple MLS games, DC United and New York Red Bulls. And then, of course, the premier game of the week was Seattle Sounders at Portland Timbers. So I've been a casual fan of the MLS. I mean, realistically, let's just be honest. That's one of the good things I like about these vlogs is that I can be 100% honest with you guys. I don't get paid for this. I do this because I love sports. Soccer in general, I started watching football 2009. So it's been almost 10 years, a decade of watching the sport. Really a little more than that. I watch a few World Cups, as an American citizen. That's how we our entrance into the world of football is through the World Cup. Is what I would like to assume. And then, of course, I think FIFA is a good reason. FIFA, the video game, is another reason why a lot of people get interested in the sport. But support for the domestic league is not nearly as high as the Premier League or La Liga or other Serie A now with Ronaldo over there. So I'll just get this out. Atlanta United is my team, but watching the Seattle and Portland match, you could really see the growth of the sport, of the MLS. And I just want to highlight that that's a true rivalry. Like when we're talking Lakers Celtics, we're talking about Duke UNC, uh, we're talking about Yankees Red Sox. Granted, it doesn't have the history because the MLS hasn't been around, but the potential's there. And I was really impressed with the atmosphere of that match, and it felt like a real rivalry. You could sense it with the players and with just that vibe. So, applause. A nice little clap for the MLS for that match. I was entertained, even though let's just be honest, the football quality was pretty poor. I would compare it like watching the NBA compared to college basketball. Some people might hate on that because people really love college basketball, but you love college basketball because of the tradition. You love college basketball because of the names of the team in the university, not necessarily the quality that you see on the court. Because the NBA, the quality doesn't compare; it pales in comparison. But yeah, Premier League's like the NBA, and college basketball is like the MLS. So as soon as if Miami was getting a team, I would automatically be a fan of Miami, but that's not until 2020. I probably won't be in Miami. As you can see, I'm moving right now. We're moving to North Carolina, and so Atlanta would be the closest club. And I think I've made up my mind I will be a supporter of Atlanta United. And yeah, let's just let's see how they're doing with Joseph Martinez. I mean, the guy now has 28 goals today. He scored again, broke an MLS record. I love the fact that the MLS went and got a guy like Joseph Marino, young talent, instead of trying to pay the big bucks for an old washed up head. Now, not to say that that tactic isn't working, because Wayne Rooney has reignited DC United's club. Zlatan Ibrahimovic has reignited LA Galaxy, but you still have to have homegrown MLS talent, and Joseph Martinez is that. So I will be getting the Joseph Martinez jersey and supporting my club, Atlanta United. I advise, if you're a fan of soccer, why not? Why not just support the MLS? Why not catch a match and pass the summertime? Because I'm a huge NFL fan, but that NFL summer, that off season is brutal, and it's so long. It's not like in football, soccer. The World Cup ended the end of July, and all we had was maybe a few weeks before they're playing exhibitions again. Even without the World Cup, it's only like a 2 month, 3 month break, and you get the sport started right back up right away. One thing that I noticed watching the MLS though is that it's like an Americanization of football. So obviously soccer, but the way the referee calls it, they do not call those touch fouls you see in the Premier League. They allow the guys to really go at it, and I'm torn because I like it to an extent, but I'm so accustomed to La Liga and Premier League where a guy's going down from a pretty, that's a foul. The definition of a foul is slightly different, I feel like, in MLS than the way it's implemented in the Premier League. That's one note that I had from that match. And the other, it was just seemed like there was a guy who actually got injured, and the referee, I don't even know if you noticed that the player was off the field in the Seattle Portland Timbers match. I forget his name. Let's be honest. I don't know if there's many people that really keep up with all the lower tier players, but the guy was going in for Portland, and he ran off the pitch behind the goal and hit his hand on, I think, an advertisement board, and he was out for like, I feel like, at least 4 or 5 minutes. And referee kept play going. They didn't stop the match to see if he was okay, and they did this on a number of different occasions. The guys are just laying around on the field, and no, they just play on. So that was something that I don't think that's good for the sport. I think it would be, it's tough to call because Americans, what do you want to do? Do you want to just satisfy the Americans who have never watched Premier League sport, soccer or football? Or do you want to satisfy those who are just getting into the sport, and you think that they're going to like your product better than the Premier League? I don't think that's going to work. I think you're going to have to uh, try to replicate the way the game is played in the Premier League. Yes, sure, it's less talent. At least have the officiating somewhat similar, like with VAR introduced that. I think they have that in place. There are certain situations that can be reviewed and certain that are not. There was another tackle scuffle that really, showcased the that rivalry and how much they hate each other. It was a late challenge, and it was unnecessary. It wasn't even a football move. The guy completely took out, I think it was a Timbers guy. I don't remember who was fighting who, but the play was dead. They were getting ready to respot the ball, and he just slide tackles and takes the guy out. And the referee doesn't send him off. I don't even know if he got booked. I'm just like, why is he still playing? He needs to be sent off the game. That's a red card. And it's a no-brainer red card. And I don't even think he got booked with a yellow. So it's completely Americanized, which makes it, I guess, it's a little different, which could be a positive. But just from my viewership standpoint, I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like, they don't know what they're doing. That's the feeling that I have. I've watched, like I said, 10 years of Premier League, and watching that match, I had the feeling they don't know what they're doing. Luckily, I'm a diehard sports fan, so I'm still going to watch it, and I keep these updates coming. But that was kind of sickening to watch, a referee not send the guy off for what he did. So the MLS table right now, Atlanta United sits on top with 54 points, and FC Dallas in the Western Conference with 46. So, I mean, let's just be honest. I don't know a lot about what's going on in MLS, but as soon as I find out, the better I understand this league. They have playoffs. Playoffs in soccer? Okay, whatever. We'll run with it. All I know is that Atlanta United is winning this season in this table. Um, and then I'll give you any updates of that after that. The Portland Timbers appear to have lost a playoff spot from the Seattle Sounder game. That was a game of significance, a game of high significance, as you could tell in the players. It was unfortunate it was decided by an own goal, but that's the way soccer rolls sometimes. So if you're American, I'm American. Let's support the MLS and let's get our league leveled. It's competitive and respected. And right now, you gotta choose your team. At this point, you have to choose a team. You can't just sit here and watch, okay? You sit here and watch, you'll never get into it. Choose a club. Choose your club for whatever reason. It could be the damn kits, the uniforms. Because let's be honest, you're gonna have to look at the kits for. I plan on being a fan for the rest of my life. I don't plan on changing teams, so I got to be satisfied with how the kit is. I got to be satisfied with the location. Am I going to be able to watch the games? Atlanta's close, going to be close to where I'm living. Not a problem for me. I can make those games. And also the ownership. At this point in time, ownership is hard to tell. Every team is working on a very small budget, but I love the fact of how Atlanta invested in the youth and have been successful with that. Even if they weren't successful, I mean, Atlanta United, everything about the club I like, except the fact that Atlanta as a city, I am a Braves fan, so I can knock two heads with one, so that's a plus. But their fans can be some of the worst fair weather fans. I went to a Steelers Falcons game, and the Steelers, we just took over their dome. It was like back when they were in the Georgia Dome, took it over. They obliged to us. Half of the fans were cheering for the Steelers that by the end of the game. They were cheering for us. So not the most loyal fan base, but hopefully that will change with this particular team. And I've seen the worst of the worst down here in Miami. I'm sorry if you're a Dolphins fan, but you know it. If you're a Dolphins fan and you live in Miami, you know it. You can't deny it. People are sunshine, rainbows, fair weather fans when it comes to Miami sports. The Heat do get support of a lot of fans, but they don't actually hardcore fans. So let's just put it at that. They're not hardcore fans. And Miami, you guys are the most sunshine fans that I know out here. And I will be glad that I'll be going back to a market that actually supports their teams through thick and thin. Even though we'll see how the Panthers really do if they have a bad season, but college basketball will be big again. College football is big down here, but again, fair weather. Very, very much fair weather. If the Gators are good, you'll see all the Gator signs. If the Seminoles are good, you see all the Seminole signs. If the Hurricanes are good, Hurricane Central. So it's just the flavor of the season. Whoever's doing well is who South Florida will support. But anyways, this is about the MLS, and MLS America. Is time to support your league. Support your league. Find a team. Buy a jersey. Try to watch it. Just try. Give it a shot, and it hopefully will not disappoint you. That should do it for today's episode. I know MLS is not a hot subject, but we covered some Premier League. The great match today for Tottenham Spurs fans. Congratulations on the 3 points. United, you helped us out. You helped us out in sorting out this manager stuff, and honestly, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that this is not dragging out into the season where you get to the point, if you get to December, January, and you still have Jose Mourinho as a coach, and it's like you don't want to sack them because they're doing well. I'd love for the club to do well, but we all know this is a train wreck waiting to happen, and the wreck just happened. So at this point, it's sorting everything out and making sure we get the train back on the tracks, and we still have time to catch up to the other train. So we need to figure out who the next manager is, and all signs point to Zinedine Zidane. So, and of course, the other wrap up would be the MLS playoff race is heating up. We'll see who gets in, who gets out, and then we'll enjoy some more soccer as the year goes on. But next episode, we'll be covering the NFL, and I'm going to do a hot take special. So I'm not going to say it in the episode, but it's going to be a hot take, fresh out the oven special. And just know it's satirical. So that's all for today, and good night, folks.